Good morning, students. So welcome everybody back to Max online class. Students, today in Max class we discuss about relative speed. What's relative speed? When two objects are moving in same directions or different directions, the speed of one object with respect to another object is called relative speed. The speed of one object relate to another object, that is called relative speed. Suppose if two trains are running in the same speed, running in the same direction, not in same speed, the same directions, or they can be in different direction. We compare the speed of both trains, that is called relative speed. So here, if both objects are moving in the same direction, the relative speed is calculated by taking the difference of the speed of that two objects. If when two objects moves in the same direction with a kilometer, suppose one object in a kilometer speed and another object in b kilometer speed, that means they are in different speed, then their relative speed is calculated by subtracting the speed of both the object. So when two objects are moving in the same direction, the relative speed of that objects are taken by taking the difference of the speed of that two objects. Just like that, when two objects moves in different directions, then the relative speed is calculated by taking the speed of both that objects. This point everybody should keep in mind. When both objects are moving in the same direction, the relative speed of that objects are calculated by taking the difference of the speed of that object. And when two objects that moves in the different directions, the relative speed of that object is calculated by taking the sum of the speed of that two objects. So that is about relative speeds. Now we solve some questions of relative. Students, look at the first question, exercise 9.3. A driver leaves a city at 6 a.m. and another driver leaves the city at 11 a.m. from the same place in the same direction. If the average speed of the first driver is 55 km per hour and the second driver was 62 km per hour, find the time at which they will be together. So here two drivers, one driver he starts his journey at 6 a.m. and another driver starts his journey from the same place at 11:30 a.m. and they are going in the same direction. So the average speed of both drivers given, that is 55 km per hour first driver and 62 km per hour, that is second driver's average speed. Then at what time they will be together? They are starting in different direction, different time, in the same direction they are moving. Then at what time they will meet together? So students, here we want to find out the relative speed. They are moving in the same direction. Relative speed we have to find out, and the time we have to calculate it. The time at which they will meet. Time is equal to distance by speed. So here relative speed is given and relative speed is not given. Their average speed is given. So we have to find out the relative speed, and then we divide that relative speed by the distance covered, distance upon relative speed. How much distance they cover, the total distance they cover, that we have to find out and divide. So here students, here the differences in the starting time of two drivers. One driver starts at 6 a.m. another driver starts at 11:30 a.m. So the differences of the starting time is 11:30 a.m. minus 6 a.m. that is equal to 5 hours and 30 minutes. That's the differences in time. That means 5.5 hours. So this 5.5 hours is the difference of that time of the both drivers. That means when the second driver starts his journey, he is late by 5.5 hours in comparison with the first driver. So in these 5.5 hours, how much distance that first driver travels, that we want to find out. His average speed is given. The average speed of the first driver is 55 kilometer. 55 kilometer per hour, that's the average speed. So with this average speed, in 5.5 hours, how much distance he covers, that we want to find out. Distance covered by the first driver in 5.5 hours. 5 hours 30 minutes means 5.5 hours. That means 55 into 5.5. That is equal to 55 into 11 upon 2. We can find out that. 2 2s are 4, 15, 2 7s are 14, and 1, 2 5s are 10, 27.5 into 11. We multiply that, 27.5 into 11. 5 7 2 and 5 7 2. Is equal to 302.5 kilometers he travels. 302.5 kilometers he traveled before the second driver start his journey. Second driver start his journey at 11:30 a.m. By that time he already had covered, first driver already had covered 302.5 kilometers. So that's the distance that is traveled by the first driver. Then what is the relative speed? Relative speed, here they are moving in the same direction. So relative speed can be calculated by taking the difference of their speed. So relative speed is equal to 62 kilometer per hour minus 55 kilometer per hour. That is equal to 7 kilometer per hour. Now we have the distance and we have the speed. Therefore, time at which they will meet together is equal to distance by relative speed. Distance is equal to 302.5 divided by 7. We divide 302.5 divided by 7. So it will go on like this. So we will stop from here. Therefore, we get 43.21 hours after they will be together. So they will be together at 43.21 hours after. That means after 2 days they will be together. Okay, students, so I think you understood that. First of all, we calculate the difference in the time of both drivers, and then we calculate how much distance the first driver traveled before the second driver started his journey, and then that is distance, and we calculate the relative speed by subtracting the speed of both drivers because they are traveling in the same direction. So after finding out the relative speed, we divide distance by relative speed, then we get the time at which they will meet together. Two trains of length 300 meter and 250 meter long are moving. Each train has the speed of 85 km per hour and moving in the opposite direction. How long will it take them to pass each other? So here also, how long will it take? That means the time we have to find out. Time is equal to distance by speed. And what is distance here? Here the distance means it is the length of both trains, because the two trains they are moving in the different directions. So when they cross each other, the distance they want to cover is equal to the distance of the length of that both trains. So total distance means it is the length of both the train, and the speed, relative speed, we have to calculate. And here the speed of the train, as they are moving in different direction, the relative speed of these both trains will be equal to the sum of their speed. That means 85 km per hour and plus 85 km per hour, because both trains have the same speed. So after taking the relative speed, we divide the distance by the time, and then we get the time needed to pass both trains each other. And here you can see that distance is given in meter, but speed is given in kilometer per hour. Therefore, that should be changed to meter per second. Then we have to find out the answer. So students, here first the distance to be covered is 300 kilometer. That's 300 meter. That's the length of first train, plus 250 meter. That's the length of another train. So distance here means the length of both train. That you can write in bracket, length of both train. That is called the distance. Means the distance they want to cover is equal to the length of both trains. And then relative speed. As the trains move on opposite direction, then the relative speed is equal to the sum of their speed. Here speed is 85 km per hour. So 85 km per hour plus 85 km per hour, that is equal to 170 km per hour. And students, here the kilometer per hour we have to change to meter per second, because here the distance is given in meter. So in order to change kilometer per hour into meter per second, we have to multiply by 5 upon 18. 5 upon 18. So we multiply 850 divided by 18. That we can write here 850 divided by 18. 72. So 130. Seven times 126. 14. So that will continue. 47.2 meter per second. That is the relative speed of both the train. 47.2 meter per second. And now time taken to pass each other is equal to distance divided by relative speed. Distance is equal to, you know that we have calculated, that is equal to 550 meter. 550 meter is the distance, and then 550 divided by relative speed 47.2. So students, in order to divide this, we avoid this point by multiplying with the 10, then we get 5,500 divided by 472. So here we divide 780, also one time 472. 8 and 7 minus 7 0, and 7 minus 4 is equal to 3080 again, and then 6 times 6 2s are 12, 6 7s are 42, 43, and 6 4s are 24, plus 4 28. Then we subtract, then we get 8, and 7 minus 3 4, and 10 minus 2. Again we get 5 times 5 2s are 10, 5 7s are 14, 15, and 5 4s are 20, 21. Okay students, we stop from here, so it will be 11.65 seconds that will be taken in order to cross that both trains. 11.65 seconds, around 12 seconds it will take to cross each other. Now we go to the next question. Okay, students, next third question. Two bikers are 50 kilometers apart. They start at the same time and drive towards each other. One biker travels at 55 kilometers per hour and another at 65 kilometers per hour. After how long will they meet? So here two bikers, they are 50 meter apart, means they are now at a distance of 50 meter, not 50 kilometers apart, and they start at the same time from both directions, from both sides, and drive towards each other. One biker, his speed is 55 km per hour and another is 65 km per hour. Then after how long, means at what time they meet together? So here also, students, we want to find out time. Time is equal to distance by speed, and distance is already given, 50 kilometers apart they are. So distance is 50 and the speed means relative speed. Here both bikers, they travel in the different direction, therefore the speed, relative speed, will be equal to the sum of their speeds, means 65 kilometers plus 55 kilometers. Then that distance should be divided by relative speed, and here the distance and speed is given in kilometer per hour, so that we can find out the answers. Here you see distance between the bikers, that is 50 kilometers apart, and the speed of the bikers, it means relative speed of bikers, that is 55 kilometer per hour plus 65 kilometer per hour. Why we are adding this? Because they are traveling in different directions. So when two bodies are traveling in different direction, the relative speed is calculated by adding the speed of both bodies. So here it is equal to 120 km per hour, that is a relative speed, and time at which they meet, time is equal to distance by speed, distance by relative speed, distance by relative speed. That is equal to 50 kilometers divided by 120 kilometer per hour. So here we divide, that means 5 upon 12 kilometer per hour, and here 5 upon hours, 5 upon 12 hours. 5 upon 12 hours means how many minutes? We can, in order to convert minute, we multiply by 60, so we get 5, means 5 into 5 is equal to 25 minutes. So they will meet after 25 minutes. Why we multiply by minutes? Because 5 upon 12 hours we get. 5 upon 12 hours means it is we convert, to convert to minute. 1 minute is 60. 1 hour is 60 minutes. So we multiply by 60. Therefore we get 25 minutes. So both these bikers, they will meet at 25 minutes after they start from both directions. Okay, students. So students, these are the questions, and this chapter is finished. In this chapter, students, I think you remember what we have studied. What we have studied first of all, we studied about average, how to calculate total quantity divided by number of quantities. Then after we studied about speed, and speed is the distance traveled by an object in a particular period of time, whether it is 1 hour or 1 minute or 1 second. That is called speed. And for calculating the speed, we studied the formula: speed is equal to distance by time, and time is equal to distance by speed, and distance is equal to time into speed. So these formulas we have studied, and also we studied about relative speed today, and the relative speed of both object is calculated. What is relative speed? In relation with one object, we study the speed of another object. That is called relative speed. Relative speed of two objects is calculated if they are moving in a different direction. It is the sum of their speed, and if they are moving in the same direction, it will be the difference of their speeds. So these are the main points, students, that we studied in this chapter, and you practice all the questions very well and complete your work, and you start preparations for the test also. Okay, students, today we stop from here itself. Thank you everybody. Have a nice day to everybody.